My next patron question is from Micah, who wants to know what makes a good spin-off, whether it's a TV show or a movie. When it comes to spin-offs, I think many do have the potential to be successful, whether it's taking a supporting character and giving them their own show or movie, or you're exploring another part of the lore. There are certainly some good spin-offs out there, along with some underwhelming ones. They can flesh the characters out and take them to new adventures. Some spin-off shows might even surprise with who they decide to focus on. Was anyone watching Cheers really clamoring for an entire show centered on Frasier Crane? Even Kelsey Grammer was not interested in reprising the character in a new series, and him and the producers pitched an entirely different sitcom to NBC and Paramount. However, the network and studio much preferred a Frasier spin-off show. The result ended up being quite a beloved and successful series, to the point I've seen Frasier rerun on television far more than Cheers. Not every spin-off winds up with Frasier, though. Remember when Joey from Friends got his own series after that show ended? Despite the best efforts of the writers, they struggled to think of fresh new material for the character. The audience had already seen him trying to hit on women and launch his acting career through 10 seasons of Friends, whereas Frasier actually took the titular protagonist into new territory. Regarding movie spin-offs, there are quite a few that also work. My favorite of the Madagascar movies is actually Penguins of Madagascar. In my case, I've always found them to be the funniest characters and were often given the best lines. Making a spy movie with the penguins at the center turned out to be quite a clever idea in my opinion, and the film did manage to give them an arc and found plenty of comedic possibilities for them. I will admit, I've had a hard time getting invested in the Fast and Furious movies. There are far too many characters and I care for so few of them, no matter how many times Vin Diesel grunts about family. And yet, I quite enjoyed the spin-off movie Hobbs and Shaw. By focusing on just these two macho men being forced to work together, I was a lot more entertained by the wild action sequences. Sometimes a spin-off movie can have a really interesting concept, but then disappoint in the execution. I was actually really looking forward to Men in Black International, because the idea of focusing on a different branch of this secret government agency in a different part of the world can inspire so many potential fun ideas. It was also one way to continue the series despite the unavailability of Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. Unfortunately, I was underwhelmed by the finished film, which had dull alien villains and relied too much on trying to recreate the chemistry between Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson in Thor Ragnarok. Something often seen on television as a way to launch a spin-off series is the backdoor pilot. For those who don't know the term, a backdoor pilot is when an episode of an already running series is created as a way to set up a whole new show and gauge audience interest. These usually have the main characters relegated to a much smaller role, and can even take place in an entirely new location. I've never liked backdoor pilots because they often come across as forced. Plus, I'm not here to watch you, random guest star. I want to know what Kirk and Spock are up to. I bring up Star Trek because there really is an episode that was just Gene Roddenberry trying to pitch another show to NBC. Kirk and Spock are relegated to supporting roles, as we mostly follow a man from the future and a secretary played by Terry Garr. I remember watching it and wondering why the producers had wasted an entire episode on these two characters. There's a reason most backdoor pilots don't wind up leading to full series. Ultimately, I think spin-off shows depend entirely on if the people responsible can find new and interesting stories for these other characters to participate in. Sometimes you get a Pinky in the Brain, where it's a natural continuation and expansion of their original adventures, and the audience will follow. Other times you get something like Walter, a bizarre attempt to give Radar from MASH his own series where he's now a policeman for some reason. That actually made it to pilot, but understandably the show was not picked up. Now let me know in the comments some of your favorite spin-off shows or movies, and thank you for your question, Micah.